hear these people and what they can do with their voices, it's amazing. So I just wanted to let y'all know that that's in the zeitgeist for us all. Anna's Behind is on the Behind the Table podcast today. We want you to have a great day, everybody. Take a little time to enjoy the view. And listen, don't let this stuff get you down. Remember what you got to do every day. You got to take care of your family, you got to take care of your friends, you got to take care of your neighborhood. We're all in it together. We're going to fight it together. We'll see you tomorrow.
I served 2 tours in the Middle East, 21 years in the Air Force.
I served in a field artillery unit.
The Maine National Guard.
I respect Graham Plattner's service, but he doesn't respect ours.
Plattner falsely accused a military hero of war crimes.
He said a Purple Heart recipient didn't deserve to live after being shot, trying to save his own troops.
And Plattner blames his Nazi tattoo on military culture? That's insulting. Graham Plattner's a fraud. He's unfit to represent Maine.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When the morning light hits Maine, start your day with a good morning, Maine. Craig Colson, Janessa Bishop, by your side, bringing the stories that matter statewide. Local news and the forecast ahead. Wake up informed, ready to go on ABC 7 and Fox 22.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
The town of Skowhegan has a reason to celebrate. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. A new poll shows that Susan Collins and Graham Plattner are almost tied for the race for Senate. And a nonprofit home in Holden that serves cancer patients got a helping hand yesterday. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey, Susan. Happy Tuesday afternoon. We still have that extreme heat watch up farther off to the south and west until Friday at around 8 p.m. Extremely high heat index, or feels like temperatures, will be on the way, at least until about that time frame. And I'm sure we'll have some more heat alerts expanding to the north and east in due time as well. In the meantime, we do have some rain further off towards the north and east, kind of fizzling a bit as well as it tracks southeast. We are going to be watching for some more energy that will be developing in due time too, especially with this front that's going to be moving in our direction. That'll bring some showers and thunderstorms coming up late tonight. So as we check things out with Futurecast, so a partly cloudy sky today. We'll have some more clouds moving in later on tonight, and there's that opportunity for storms late tonight, but it will be getting out of here as we head towards your Wednesday with some clouds and sunshine that will be mixed in. Mid-80s today under a partly cloudy sky and that southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's a change to the forecast from early this morning to now. Low 60s, mostly cloudy with fog, and now some thunderstorms late tonight and that south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Already your hourly forecast as we check things out. Overall, a partly cloudy sky today with temperatures in the 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. The town of Skowhegan celebrated a historic milestone toward bringing its River Park vision to life. It's a project in the years in the making, and it's now taking its first physical steps forward. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
Today, we're proving that big things can happen in small towns.
After nearly 3 decades of planning, the first physical pieces of the Skowhegan River Park are about to take shape.
I don't think that there really are words to say that really speak to the immense importance of the groundbreaking for this boardwalk.
The groundbreaking marks the official start of construction on the New Balance Foundation Boardwalk, which aims to connect the Kennebec River and the community.
If you have been to Skowhegan, you know that we have chain link fences and weeds growing along our riverbank, which is the most beautiful part of town, and the boardwalk is going to change all that.
Once complete, the multi-phase River Park project will also feature the Northeast's first adjustable surf and kayak wave, enhanced trails, and more. Phase 1 was largely funded by federal grants championed by Senators Susan Collins and Angus King.
I believe that this new boardwalk is going to be an incredible asset to Skowhegan.
The New Balance Foundation announced just last week that it would donate $1 million to the project.
We hope that people from all around Maine come to visit, and even potentially globally, and that they start to know the name Skowhegan.
Part of the boardwalk is set to be complete this winter, with Phase 2 beginning next summer. The end goal is to transform the riverfront and town into a world-class destination.
I think that our community is about to become even more of a place that people want to live, work, and play.
In Skowhegan, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A new poll shows Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner holding a tight lead over incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins. The poll was conducted by the New York Times, Portland Press Herald, and Siena Research Group. It surveyed 608 likely voters in Maine between June 19th and 26th. The results show Plattner leading the race by 2 percentage points, receiving 49% support among likely voters compared to 47% for Senator Collins. Senator Collins spoke to reporters about the poll during that event in Skowhegan yesterday. Collins says she is, quote, used to having hard-fought races.
I am hopeful that putting together the coalition that I've always been successful, and pointing to my position as chair of the Appropriations Committee, a position that a Maine senator has not held in 92 years, that people will understand what the differences are. There are many, many differences.
The race is viewed by both parties as a key to winning control of the Senate. The poll also showed that 54% of the voters surveyed would like to see Democratic control of the Senate, and 42% would like to see Republican control. Police say a man chased down a woman and pepper sprayed her during a random attack in Rockland. It happened around 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Police say 37-year-old Nicholas Wallace chased the woman who had jogged past him and pepper sprayed her before he was chased off by Good Samaritans. He was later arrested and charged with criminal threatening, terrorizing, criminal use of disabling chemicals, and other crimes. Police say the attack is believed to be random and the victim has no relation to Wallace. Bangor police are reminding residents to lock their vehicles. Officials say reports of vehicle break-ins are a regular occurrence in the Queen City. They add these incidents are often crimes of opportunity and can happen in a matter of seconds. Bangor Police Sergeant Jeremy Brock says the best way to protect yourself is to be proactive.
It's one of the easiest crimes to commit, where a lot of people leave the doors unlocked. And it's just as easy as somebody coming up, seeing if the door is unlocked, see if anything valuable is inside, and then quickly moving on, so they're not staying in one place for a long time.
Brock says it's also one of the easiest crimes to prevent. He reminds drivers to lock their doors, especially at night. The Somerset County Sheriff's Department has also been investigating a series of break-ins. 13 storage units and 6 vehicles were broken into over the weekend in Bingham. Officials say the culprits were 6 juveniles ranging in age from 10 to 15 years old. The suspects are accused of stealing Air Jordan sneakers, wallets, a handgun, and other property. 4 of the suspects are now being turned over to juvenile authorities. However, the youngest 2 aren't facing charges because they are too young to be charged under Maine law. Lincoln Town councilors are giving their budget another look, voting last night to set aside controversial budget that was passed last week. Many local residents and emergency crews were outraged when the council passed a budget that called for deep cuts. That would have forced painful cuts, including several members from the fire department. The council decided Monday night to scrap the plan and will now hold another budget vote next month. Governor Janet Mills is giving $100,000 from her contingency fund to help keep the Katahdin Higher Education Center open. The center in East Millinocket is Northern Penobscot County's only institution of higher learning. A statement says it provides access to higher education courses, academic advising, workforce training, and other student support services. The facility is also home to the Katahdin Region Child Care Development Center, which provides child care services to families in the region. Earlier this year, the University of Maine system announced it would end its partnership with the center to reduce its physical footprint. Governor Janet Mills says, quote, "This one-time funding bridge is from my contingency account. Well, it will keep the critical resource open while a working group develops a long-term plan to ensure it continues serving the Katahdin region for years to come." A nonprofit hospitality home in Holden for cancer patients received a donation towards their cause. On Monday morning, the Mainly Spinners presented a $6,000 check to Sarah's House of Maine and held a raffle for a sweater that was made by the team. The donation raffle marked the conclusion of the Spinners' participation in the 2026 International Back-to-Back Wool Challenge. That aims to promote wool across the world and raise funds for cancer care. Mainly Spinners coordinator Jan Delaney says the amount of hard work that goes into sweaters is worth every second.
A lot of hard work, and I know a few people who have very sore fingers after knitting all that time, but everybody enjoys it and we keep doing it because we know we have a great cause to raise money for.
During the challenge, the spinners had to shear a sheep, spin the wool, and knit a sweater in the span of a day. This year, they achieved the second best overall time of 11 minutes, 20 minutes and 48 seconds. Heather Massey, the executive director of Sarah's House, spoke about what a donation of this means to them.
This is how we stay free for our guests. It's absolutely free to stay here, and that makes it so we can keep our doors open and so we can help many people traveling from rural Maine to get cancer treatment.
Massey says Sarah's House has helped over 790 cancer patients receive treatment since they opened in 2014. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, the Supreme Court has made a ruling on the birthright citizenship case. We'll have details when we return.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle wreck, call 855-IRON-LAW today. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. We protect our own.
Do you take propane tank?
Anything goes.
How about cardboard?
Anything goes.
How about old rug?
Yeah, anything goes.
So this too?
Furniture removal, basements, garages, attics, hoarder houses. It doesn't matter here at Anything Goes Junk Removal. Anything goes. Well, almost anything.
Maine's rural hospitals are struggling, but Senator Susan Collins came to the rescue, delivering critical federal funding for upgraded facilities and life-saving diagnostic equipment. Susan Collins does her job, and our hospitals benefited. Call and thank her for delivering for Maine.
You know what today is? It's Tuesday. Just reminding you that whatever day of the week you get hurt, we're your go-to lawyers. If you've been hurt, call us right now.
Hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Keep your vehicle running smooth this summer with help from Frost Garage.
It's really hot in my car all the time.
We'll get you AC service, no problem.
Really pulls to one side and shakes a lot.
Sounds like you need some front-end work, not a problem.
It really used to fly. Now it barely just chugs along.
Could just need a tune-up. We'll take a look.
No matter the issue, Frost Garage will keep your vehicle safe all year long.
I'd say it flies now.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope. Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge. Make a difference for our loved ones facing cancer at Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th. Join the motorcycle ride or car show August 16th. Take the challenge to surround family and friends in cancer treatment. Celebrate survivors, remember loved ones we've lost, and lift up our community. Join us. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The U.S. continues peace talks with Iran using Qatar as the mediator. Correspondent Trey Yangst has more from Tel Aviv.
The meeting in Doha is going to be
perhaps important, perhaps not.
President Trump is downplaying the possibility of a major breakthrough as a new round of peace talks gets underway. The American team, led by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, are now sitting down with Qatari mediators, who will then meet with Iranian negotiators on Wednesday. The Iranians claim they will uphold their end of the bargain if the United States upholds theirs. The Qataris say both sides are still talking, and that's a good sign.
Technical meetings are ongoing between the parties, whether they are direct or indirect.
The talks follow several days of back-and-forth strikes between Iran and the U.S. President Trump says if Iran attacks again, the U.S. will renew its air offensive. But it's still unclear if those threats will get Iran to give up its nuclear program.
It's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon.
Israel also hinting it's not satisfied with the ceasefire. Defense Minister Israel Katz told reporters he's directed the IDF to prepare airstrikes if President Trump decides negotiations aren't working. Some experts are saying Iran is stalling for time to regroup.
The people are talking nice to us, and they've given us an expectation that this is all going to work out. And at the same time, we have hardliners and true policymakers taking a completely different approach.
Technical teams from the U.S. and Iran will meet separately with mediators from Qatar and Pakistan in the coming days. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
The Supreme Court upholds the 14th Amendment, ruling against President Donald Trump's push to end birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court announcing its final opinions before adjourning for summer recess, the most consequential one being the outcome of the birthright citizenship case, a top priority for President Trump. The justices ruling against Trump's executive order signed on the first day of his second term. The order effectively ended the Constitution's 14th Amendment guarantee that people born on U.S. soil are American citizens. His order targeted Americans born to undocumented immigrants and those on temporary visas. The justices had appeared skeptical of the legality of the executive order when they heard oral arguments in early April, given the High Court has interpreted the 14th Amendment for more than 125 years as granting citizenship to all babies born in the U.S. Regardless of parentage, President Trump had attended in person, a first for a sitting president. Overall, justices heard argument for 58 cases this term. In South Africa, thousands of demonstrators gathered to rally against illegal immigration Tuesday. Some protest groups setting Tuesday as a deadline for the departure of all illegal migrants from the country. The demonstrations coming as protesters blame illegal immigrants for causing unemployment among South Africans by accepting lower wages as well as higher levels of crime and other problems. The Tuesday deadline was not recognized by South Africa's government, which has maintained that only authorities can enforce immigration laws. In Athens, Greek rescuers search for people trapped after a 4-story apartment building collapsed. 4 people trapped earlier have since been rescued. The operation continued today with rescue dogs searching the rubble. It's not clear what caused the building to collapse. The fire brigade said construction work had been underway at an adjacent building. Reports show the national average prices for gas are shifting downwards, but are still much higher than before the war with Iran. ABC's Elizabeth Schulte has the details.
Gas prices are moving in the right direction ahead of the 4th of July. The national average right now, $3.79. That's down from $4.34 a month ago, but still not at $2.94 where we were at the start of the Iran war. President Trump is now demanding that gas stations lower their prices even more immediately, pointing to the fact that the oil market has defied expectations and is now trading around its pre-war level. But there are a couple of reasons why gas prices can go up quickly, but then take time to come back down. One is that stations might have stocked up on fuel when it was at a higher price, so they need to cover those margins. And then there's the reality that the global supply of oil and gas right now is still very tight. We are seeing shipping pick up through the Strait of Hormuz, but analysts at the firm Kepler say that it's still only about half the traffic it was before the start of the war, when oil moved freely through the strait. Elizabeth Schulte, ABC News, Washington.
After the break, doctors say you don't have to suffer with migraines. We'll be right back.
I got hurt in this accident and I had to have multiple surgeries that were so expensive. I can't afford this.
If you've been hurt, you deserve to be free from your car accident problem, free from the worry of medical costs, and free from your financial struggles. Call the Twos right now. It's free.
I made a free call to Lowry Law and they got me $250,000. The twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
He jumped on the ladder and climbed up about 3 steps and just hung there. The crew chief went down the ladder, grabbed him by the rucksack and held him until we got off to a LZ where we could drop him off. Amazing courage.
We learned then what the war is all about. Can you help us over here? We have some severely wounded just coming in. I guess that was the part we knew we was at war because they were terribly wounded.
I got where I wouldn't even run to the bunker. Wasn't any sense in doing anything. If you were working and you had a patient on the table, you pulled the patient off the table, put him on the floor, and put yourself on top of the patient.
Everything went crazy. The engines were screaming, and stuff was flying around in the cabin, and it was really something. Then we hit the ground. The tires were screeching. You could feel the plane doing one of those, you know, and it finally came to a stop. Come to find out, they missed the airport.
We went down once, one turned too quick, and we took 650 caliber rounds through the bottom of the aircraft. Inside the aircraft was covered with blood. Instruments were all going red lights.
As far as I'm concerned, I think it's the most important thing I've ever done in my life.
2/3 of the way down the ladders, the blast went off, and he was killed outright.
When you first get there, you kind of resign yourself that you might not go home.
I think I saw courage every single day, and everything blew my mind. I saw it every single day, what men and women did over there. People have no clue, absolutely have no clue of what folks did and the sacrifices they made.
As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, we celebrate freedom and honor the men and women who have served to protect it. Our heroes, their own words. Friday, July 3rd at 7 p.m. on ABC 7.
A new study out of Finland shows that an earlier diagnosis of ADHD led to more success in school. ABC's Michelle Franzen has more.
A JAMA study out of Finland shows that students diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder at a younger age had higher GPAs, obtained higher level degrees, and experienced lower dropout rates. The earlier kids were diagnosed with ADHD, the more likely they were to obtain college degrees. The students with ADHD who had the highest academic achievements were diagnosed around middle school age. The authors recommend having children screened before age 12, as this age often brings big social changes and high academic demands. We know ADHD comes with academic challenges, but earlier diagnosis may lead to early support, such as class accommodations, medical treatments, and academic tools. Parents are advised to talk to their child's pediatrician about earlier screening for ADHD. With this Medical Minute, I'm Michelle Franzen.
June is Migraine and Headache Awareness Month, with an estimated 1 in 8 people worldwide dealing with migraines. Neurologists from Northern Light Health are making sure folks know they don't have to suffer. According to Northern Light Health, headache disorders are the second most prevalent condition worldwide. Migraines can interrupt daily life with symptoms that include more than severe pain, including neurological symptoms, fatigue, nausea, and difficulty concentrating. One neurologist at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center says that help are available for those who are suffering from headache disorders. He said in part, quote, "People should not feel that they just need to live with it. With an accurate diagnosis and the right treatment plan, many patients experience significant improvement and can regain control of their daily lives." For more information, visit northernlighthealth.org. The City of Augusta will be offering a daytime cooling center at the Augusta Civic Center from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It will be at the Cumberland Room. Pets are welcome so long as they remain in a secure crate or carrier. Enter through the south entrance of the Civic Center and follow the signs to the Cumberland Room. And the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is reminding folks to be vigilant and proactive during the coming hot weather days in order to avoid preventable tragedies. A few helpful tips, they say: stay hydrated and drink plenty of water, even if you aren't necessarily thirsty. Wear light-colored clothing, a hat, and don't forget the sunscreen. Do not leave any humans or pets in cars. Temperatures can rise quickly inside a vehicle, and the results could be deadly. Look out for your neighbors, especially seniors, kids, and those who may have health risks. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
"30 years living the Washington, D.C. lifestyle changes people. Getting rich from insider trading should be illegal. But Susan Collins doesn't think so. Susan Collins is trying to keep it so senators can get rich playing the stock market. They're making millions of dollars, while we can't even afford groceries and gas. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop the congressional stock trading."
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
I got hurt in this accident, and the insurance company isn't offering me nearly enough money.
If you've been hurt, you deserve to be free from your car accident problems, free from dealing with the insurance company, and free from your financial struggles. Call the twos. It's free.
I made a free call to Lowry Law, and they got me $275,000. The twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
The right dock should fit your shoreline and make life on the water easier, more rewarding, and more fun. When you choose Shoremaster from Hammond Lumber Company, you get all that, along with unmatched strength, versatility, and style. Shoremaster's tool-free Infinity Track system makes adding accessories a breeze. Hammond also offers poly-dock floating docks, perfect for deep or fluctuating waters. Transform your waterfront into your personal paradise with a Shoremaster Infinity Dock system or floating poly-dock system from Hammond Lumber Company.
There's a lot of heat coming our way. Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have an extreme heat watch that's up until 8 p.m. as we head towards your Friday, further off towards the south and west. Nothing to the north and east just quite yet, but I'm sure we'll see some advisories issued soon. Extremely high heat index, or feels like temperature values will be expected farther off towards the south and west. In the meantime, many of you will be thinking about trying to cool off, and I'm sure the ocean will help out with that. Just be careful. There could be a dramatic difference, so between the air temperatures and, of course, the ocean temperatures coming up soon as well. Meanwhile, here we go. So on land, again, it's just going to be a partly cloudy sky today. You can see some precipitation outside of the country, clipping parts of the northern parts of Maine at the moment. As we do zoom things out, this warm front right here is going to be moving into our neck of the woods, and it's going to be not only raising the temperatures, but giving us some showers and thunderstorms coming up soon as well. So futurecast moving forward, we have a partly cloudy sky today, becoming mostly cloudy later on tonight. You noticed earlier today and in the afternoon period in the futurecast, you do notice a quick little rain shower to the north. But again, overall just some clouds for us. But later on tonight, we are going to have some showers and some thunderstorms developing that we'll be getting out of here for your Wednesday with a partly cloudy sky. And overall, a nice Wednesday with lots of sunshine, and will stay pretty clear as we head towards Wednesday night and even and near Thursday. So here's what we got. It's going to get humid out there too. Dew points rising throughout the day and staying up Wednesday and pretty much beyond too, with 60s and 70s for dew points as far as the eye can see. So for today, here we go. Partly cloudy, mid-80s for highs for overall, and a southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. You notice maybe a quick shower in the northern parts of the state overall. But for tonight, mostly cloudy. We got some fog, lows in the low 60s, and here's a change from this morning. Now thunderstorms late overnight, and a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, low 90s, and it's humid out there too. Partly cloudy, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast. Thursday, partly cloudy, highs in the mid-90s. Mid-90s again for your Friday, under a mostly sunny sky. And the 4th of July, chance for showers and thunderstorms, highs in the upper 80s.
Thank you, Devin. Maine State Police will compete against other law enforcement agencies for a coveted title, America's Best Looking Cruiser. That's their 2026 entry on your screen, a 2021 100-year anniversary cruiser that they say was created to celebrate the history of the state police. It's a throwback to the design of the cruiser from 1936. The picture was taken at a scenic spot in Roxbury overlooking the Rangeley Lakes. We'll have details on how to help vote and help Maine State Police bring home the title on our website. A painting inside a tomb dating back to ancient Rome goes on display. The Francois tomb is considered by some as one of the greatest masterpieces of antiquity. The vast painting depicts warriors, gods, and heroes and recounts Greek mythology. The tomb is the latest acquisition by Italy's cultural ministry and cost about $15 million. The tomb was discovered in 1857 by French archaeologist Alessandro Francois on land owned by the Torlini family. The Franciscos were removed from the necropolis and later became part of the Torlini collection. Since 1921, the Italian government has been trying to get possession of the tomb as part of an effort to reclaim artifacts and antiquities that were taken during a boom of archaeological excavations. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
Bluey's Big Play is coming to a theatre near you.
Do you want to play musical statues with us?
Okay. Join Bluey, Bingo, Bandit, and Chili in the live stage show that's taken the world by storm.
Join in, everyone! Busy, isn't it, Rita? Pew-pew!
Enjoy the fun and games for real life. Tickets on sale now.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The following program is a paid commercial announcement sponsored by Great Healthworks.